There was a moment in Earth's history when everything felt eternal. No humans, no cities, no memory of us. Only a living, breathing planet wrapped in silence and power. Vast forests stretched endlessly like oceans of green, and real oceans shimmered under a sky untouched by fear. Life existed everywhere, raw and untamed. This was the Cretaceous, a world ruled by giants, creatures so immense they looked like something imagined, not born. Herds of triceratops moved like living fortresses across the land, while above them, colossal pterosaurs sliced through the sky like drifting shadows. In the oceans, predators with jaws full of blades ruled the depths. And on land, one name stood above all: Tyrannosaurus rex. Not just a predator, but a force of nature. A perfect system existed here. Every creature had a role. Every breath mattered. It was balance. It was power. It was survival at its purest form. But here's what makes this moment terrifying. None of them knew it was already over. Because while life thrived below, something had already begun its journey above. Something silent, something unstoppable. And by the time the Earth noticed, it would be far too late. High above this perfect world, beyond the blue sky and into the cold emptiness of space, a fragment of rock had already been set in motion. It wasn't alive. It had no purpose, no intention, but it carried the power to erase everything. Born from a violent collision millions of years earlier, this asteroid drifted through the void, crossing the vast distance between Mars and Jupiter. For millions of years, it moved unnoticed. No sound, no warning, just silent momentum. Meanwhile, Earth continued its rhythm. Seasons passed slowly. Volcanoes erupted, shaping continents. Rivers carved through land that had never known destruction. Life evolved, adapted, expanded. It was a world in constant motion, but completely unaware of what was coming. Because in the scale of the universe, it doesn't take an army. It takes a single object, a single moment, a single impact. And as that asteroid entered Earth's gravitational pull, everything changed. Its speed increased, its path locked in. It was no longer wandering, it was falling. And with every passing second, the end of an era came closer. The terrifying truth? Nothing on Earth had ever faced something like this before, and nothing was prepared. Back on Earth, life continued as if nothing had changed. Herds of massive ankylosaurs moved slowly across open plains, their armored bodies reflecting sunlight like moving shields. Groups of hadrosaurs crossed rivers in long, echoing lines, their calls filling valleys that had existed for millions of years. In dense forests, predators waited silently, hidden between ferns and shadows, watching, calculating. Above, early birds experimented with flight, gliding between branches as sunlight filtered through leaves like liquid gold. And beneath it all, in the darkness of the ground, small mammals lived quietly, fragile, unnoticed, but important in ways no one could yet understand. Everything was alive. Everything was working. It was a perfect system. But perfection has a weakness. It cannot see its own end. Because at that exact moment, far above them, the asteroid was no longer distant. It had entered Earth's space. It had crossed the moon's orbit. And now, it was accelerating. Faster and faster. The air in front of it began to compress, heat building into unimaginable temperatures. From the surface, something began to appear in the sky. A light. Faint at first, then growing. Brighter, hotter, closer. The last dawn of the dinosaurs had begun, but none of them looked up. What they saw next was something no living creature had ever witnessed, and none would ever forget, if they could. The sky began to change color. Birds fell silent. The air itself seemed to freeze. Animals stopped moving, as if instinct had sensed something beyond understanding. Then came the light, a flash so intense it erased the sun. In less than a second, the asteroid tore through the atmosphere at over 70,000 kilometers per hour. A 10-kilometer-wide mass of rock, now a burning sphere of fire, tearing the sky apart. Its destination? A region we now call the Yucatan Peninsula. But at that moment, it wasn't a location. It was the center of extinction. As it descended, the atmosphere ignited around it. The sky burned. The ground trembled. And then, it hit. The ocean exploded upward instantly, vaporizing in a violent surge of energy beyond comprehension. The impact released more force than millions of nuclear weapons combined. The Earth's crust folded like paper. Rock melted. Air turned into flame. In a radius of thousands of kilometers, nothing survived. But that was only the beginning. The moment of impact was not the end. It was the trigger. A shockwave ripped across the planet, faster than sound itself. Forests didn't fall, they vanished. Trees ignited instantly, turning into pillars of fire. The air became a weapon, scorching everything it touched. In the oceans, a wall of water rose over a kilometer high, racing across continents with unstoppable force. Tsunamis crossed entire oceans, smashing coastlines thousands of kilometers away. But the destruction didn't stay in one place. It circled the Earth. Debris launched into space began to fall back down. Thousands, Then millions of burning fragments re-entered the atmosphere. The sky filled with fire. It looked like stars falling, but each one carried death. The entire planet turned into an inferno. Day and night disappeared. There was only fire, only heat, only destruction. Temperatures rose beyond anything life could survive. The ground itself began to melt. Even stone flowed like liquid. Creatures that had ruled for millions of years collapsed in moments. The giants fell first, but the true horror was still coming. After the fire came the silence. Deep underground, inside burrows, beneath water, within cracks in the earth, life endured. Small creatures, fragile creatures, the ones no one noticed before. Insects, amphibians, early mammals. They survived not because they were strong, but because they were adaptable. While giants fell, the small waited, and in that darkness, something incredible began to happen. The dust in the atmosphere slowly started to settle. Years passed, then decades. Slowly, sunlight returned, but weaker, colder. Rain began to fall again, washing the ash from the surface. Beneath the ground, seeds that had survived the fire and the cold began to grow. Tiny plants pushed through the soil. Moss covered rocks. Life returned, not as it was before, but as something new. The balance had shifted forever. The age of giants was over, and in its place, a new era was rising. Quiet, unnoticed, but unstoppable. The age of mammals had begun. The world that emerged from the ashes was different. Smaller, faster, smarter. Where massive dinosaurs once walked, now agile creatures moved through the landscape. The planet healed slowly, but it never forgot. The evidence remained, etched into rocks, buried in fossils, hidden beneath layers of time. That impact, known today as the Chicxulub event, didn't just end a world. it created the conditions for another. Because from that destruction came opportunity. Millions of years later, those small surviving mammals would evolve, grow, adapt, until one day a species would rise capable of asking questions, capable of looking at the sky and wondering where it all began. Us. The end of the dinosaurs wasn't just extinction, it was transformation. A reminder that life doesn't disappear, it changes. And one day, just like them, our time may also come. The sky may darken again. The earth may shift once more. But if there's one thing this story proves, it's this: life always finds a way. And sometimes, the end of everything is only the beginning of something greater.